Hello, 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 and welcome to Emerald Thoth with me, Mark. It's been a while. How have you been? So, we're doing an indoors read. How different is that compared to where we were a couple of months ago? The rain in England is contributing towards that, but rain or shine, we're here, we're always here. So I felt it was time to come back and bring some messages to you, all those people who've subscribed to me and anyone else out there who may be tapping into this message. The feeling I'm getting is a feeling of abundance, and that feeling of inner abundance. Any of you out there could do what I'm doing and just post something on the screen. You may do that already. You may post artwork, anything that's creative and that's in your soul. Something that's suppressed with the divine feminine, which is suppressed greatly in this world, in its true nature, of course. You know, there is a feminine rising, but there's a balance between a feminine rising that is masquerading as masculine energy, and there's a feminine rising that is a divine, creative, feminine source that stands in that receptive power. And so it's for us to really stand in that true divine feminine creative energy. And I think that's the abundance. It's that reception of that. It is balanced with masculine energy and structure and logic and ways that were almost very human in a way, as opposed to more divine, which is more receptive, that feminine portal. And the masculine side keeps us structured, organised. It allows the space for the flow rather than just an ocean of flow that we don't contain in a human vessel. But here lies the abundance, that form to that flow, and we're seeking to bring that abundance into this realm. Anyone who's here is divinely connected. You wouldn't link to everything that's here, but it's hard not to feel alone, and you're not alone. When you're connected to the universe and spirit guides, you definitely aren't alone, even though modern and historical society might say you're crazy, or that's not true, or that's not real. It's a greater reality, it's a higher reality, and one that is starting to bleed in and starting to form in the modern world. It's becoming more commonplace for younger people to have tarot cards tattooed on their arms, and they may not be necessarily tarot readers themselves or even have a deck at home, but the card will call to them, or necklaces. This is a pet flow room, which stands for initiation, which stands for the weird, the wide web, it stands for the fates, it stands for warriors seeking luck in battle, and look how it's shining there. So fate is on your side, abundance is on your side, you're tapped into it, and this isolation process of being alone has brought you to that place of being tapped in. And that's a wonderful thing. And there are many like us out there who are stars in that similar sky, who are light workers leading the way into a different reality. It's just that you may not be connected as much in the physical as yet. But you are definitely not alone. And the spirit guides you have that others are not connected to and cannot see at this time on the earth is a higher connection, is a higher reality. So it's a beautiful thing that you have that. And I think we're all grateful for it. In the greatest times of need, you can't really rely on the external on this earth. You have to rely on the internal, the self, and the much greater reality out there of what's in the universe. Because, you know, things like aliens and angels and starseeds are concepts that are still not widely accepted, but are beginning to become more commonly accepted as we go. So you are not alone, and you are beautifully divinely connected. And with that, let's see what Spirit has to reinforce with that message today. So at the bottom of the deck, as I pull the Dragon Path Oracle cards, which I think is new to this channel, I've had these a while, is freedom. And that spiritual connection is quite divine. The light, the blue flowers is you blooming, and that freedom you have for your connection to divine blooming. Okay, Spirit wants me to take 2 cards, and the bottom of the deck here is crystal with balance. So the whole theme of everything that's coming is a sense of balance. Asclepius is on the bottom, is also a sign of the healer. A crystal dragon as well. And so, you know, this talks about that light being that you are, that connection to the divine realms. Dragons are higher density beings. They were able to communicate with us, but they stopped because human beings couldn't handle it. You know, the selfish egoic side of human beings, and when they had technology in the Atlantean age more advanced than we have now, and a higher consciousness overall on the earth, and more 5D consciousness overall, as now still overall 3D consciousness, it showed that humans weren't ready for that state of evolution. And, you know, beings like dragons or unicorns or nagas or alien beings would be attacked, and themselves, any starseed beings, would fall into lower densities as well, possibly. So the universe will only give you what you can handle, but if you can't handle it, there's a reset. And with that, we also have Soul Guardian. So very much talking to guides, the light being here, the light in the eyes. These are wise, knowing guides that are around you. This can be dragons, this can be spirit guides, angels, ancestors. And a little bit what you represent in this world as well. A soul guardian, a guardian of your own soul, which through that isolation of what you might see as being alone is actually being connected. And I don't think there's a way really in this world that you can't have some form of insulation to remain connected to your soul in the modern world, because everything on the external really asks for you to detach from it, disconnect it, forget it. And so you've guarded that soul yourself, as well as with divine protection and guidance. And also there is grace. For me, one of the highest vibrations there is. You could say joy, enlightenment, love. But grace is a truly divine feeling and connectedness with source, and one of the most indescribable feelings when you feel a sense of true grace within yourself. Again, the blues are here, the cosmic kind of realm. What's on the back of the card is quite cosmic. All the light is that your sense of connectedness with the universe, with these higher beings. So I'll take some of the Affirmators Tarot to take a few tarot cards to see what spirit is adding to this message. Okay. Queen of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. It's bringing that sense of security, really, and abundance to you on this earthly plane, and saying you're not alone, you're abundant with the earth. You know, even though it's just this one kangaroo on the card with this one big pentacle. You know, this is not just a financial abundance, this is a sense of being connected with the earth, which is also comes through the divine realms. Mother Gaia is a divine being. Two cards are showing to me as reversed, and I don't normally take reversals, but the Five of Cups and the Six of Cups. So there's an emotional blockage at this moment in time, but the one that you're working through. So a reverse Five of Cups is not so bad. It's moving on from the worry and the feeling of disappointment and despair. You're moving on from it. You're just letting it go. All those emotional connections, parents, friends, family, lovers, partners that you may have in your life now, or you may not have in your life now. You're moving away from the disappointment because you can see that doesn't necessarily serve you. Again, it's a swan, it's a lone swan, and swans we often view as in pairs, but you have to be that healed, embodied swan. And you're almost in the in-between, because the next card is the Six of Cups reversed. This is what it looks like, it's upright. But in the reverse, it's, again, not quite there. There's two dolphins in this picture. There's one dolphin at the moment. So the suggestion is that in terms of your emotional fulfillment, and this can be conscious connection, it's not just a romantic connection, but it's very heart-based, that you're in between the Five and Six of Cups stage. And the Six of Cups is a sense of satiety. It's called pleasure in the Thoth deck from Crowley. And you can see in this card there's that sense of happiness. Dolphins often represent happiness and community. You're in an in-between phase with that, and you're learning how to discern where you put your emotional time and investment. And this is the Seven of Cups. It's trying to see through the illusions of what really fills your cup and what doesn't, and very much balancing out when you give your emotional feelings, thoughts away to people. What are you receiving back? Is this cup what it promises to be, or when you look inside, is there less than you might have thought? And so you're learning to discern that, and then it's not easy to pierce, like the narwhal here, it's not easy to pierce through the illusions of the modern world But with your soul guardians and your grace, you're starting to do that more so and be more empowered in that. You know, there's a cosmic sense as you being the star and other stars around you. It's just finding them and being secure enough in yourself to see that. And it's out there for you because the world is here. And the world is saying, come forth. You know, you hold the world in your hands. You've transformed like the butterfly. There's more stars here. So you're coming out of a phase of transformation, more empowered, more balanced in the emotional connections, how you receive as well as give, and learning not to give where you're not quite receiving, because the world needs you to be embodied. The world needs you to have a flow in your relationships and your conscious connections. And as you do that, you can be more embodied and secure in this world, like you're feeling internally, but it's finding and flowing that in the external world. Now we'll take, well, however many cards from the little guide deck to get some final messages. Okay. So at the bottom here is protection with purpose. So your purpose is being protected. You have divine angelic guidance, assistance, obviously very much associated with Archangel Michael here, although this is a feminine figure on here, so it's saying any kind of angels that are protecting you. There's a lot of blue in this reading, which is a lot of spiritual connection as well. One card came out and it's still turned over, so it's something to reveal itself, so I'm going to save that. The other three cards that came out, again, vision, throat chakra, a little bit of third eye chakra, again, higher blue and indigo kind of colours. You have a vision, you have strong vision, you have strong spiritually connected vision. And you're holding that vision because that vision is what helps change this earth. And you holding that vision and who you are is something that will lead to change in this world. I kind of started that the reading saying you're not alone in how younger people are getting tarot cards tattooed on their arms, or they may have them on necklaces or jewellery, or they're finding it easier to pick up than the stigma that has been previously. And you have a vision of that and changes in this world, not necessarily tarot cards, but anything that's creative and divinely connected. And you do that through healing, again, more blue. By you healing, you heal others. You have a message, you have a story to tell. And a healed version of you helps others heal. That's the new kind of leadership. I have a stag on here, a sign of leadership. This is quite earthly colours with the black and the brown. Yes, brown is the colour. Black and brown, very earthly, very root chakra based. The white is kind of light ball. You can see it as all the chakras, a little bit like this. Crystal, divine connection, and crown chakra connection. So it runs through your body and you bring it down, you could almost say from the crown to the root onto the earth, to be this healing presence through what you've been through the ways you had to heal yourself without the external validation or external template. You created a new template, and it's your understanding, it's your sense of healing, and it's almost the things that you may have held back that are the things that are going to make you more powerful going forward. And that is the key. You are the key. You are part of the key. You're one of the keys of many light workers, many healers who bring through their own healing in these modern times to bring modern change. So you, as yourself, your wisdom, your knowledge, what you've understood, what you've done in the darkness is the key to illuminating, like this moon, a way forward for many. So this is the card that flipped on the other side, and to reveal itself, it's very much the theme of this message is spiritual, and it's also this blooming sense as well. I get a sense of you coming into bloom, and then you've got flowers again here, and I sense with the world is like you coming into bloom as well. It's through your spiritual connection, again, the kind of blues, the crystal. You doing this healing and you having this spiritual connection is what makes you bloom, is what makes you shine, is how you're going to really help push forward in this world. And you're not so alone in that. There are others out there, and despite the norm making you maybe feel like that's the only way, it isn't the only way. And those who are pioneers, those who are leading the way, those who are changing the world, have this spiritual vision, this healing energy, and they are the keys. And you are one of those keys, beautiful light worker. It's so nice to be with you again, to feel your energy, and to come back and do something that is hopefully healing others just by showing up, just by sharing a message that isn't for everyone, but for whoever it's for. We can all help each other heal and grow and move forward for the work we were born and incarnated on this planet to do. Okay, I love you always. I wish you all the best. Namaste.